Greetings out there in YouTube land. Today I've got a Behringer X32 Rack mounted mixer. It's in the shop because I had the misfortune of having this thing dropped in my lap at the last possible moment last night at a live music gig at a local dive bar that I was playing at. So in not wanting to have to reconfigure the entire mixer matrix with all the inputs and outputs and track assignments at the last second, I opted to save a preset in the mixer's memory at some point in the past so I could easily bring back my settings even after some other knucklehead monkeys with it. Now keep in mind that these boxes work primarily with a Wi-Fi router and something like an iPad or another tablet. Last night when I powered this thing on, I couldn't even get it connected to the network right away. All my presets were erased, the whole thing was just set to factory settings, and it was extremely stressful, and I was looking for someone to murder. Anyway, I brought it here to the circuit fix bench to determine if I should just pour gasoline on it and set it on fire, or look inside and see if there is maybe a coin cell, CMOS battery, or something of that sort inside that we can change out. I'm leaning towards the petrol approach, but let's crack this thing open together and see what we're dealing with. Okay, let's power this thing on and see if the settings from last night are still inside. Because if they are not, then we probably have a battery issue. Okay, set up. Let's go check out the network settings. And they're still in here. This is what I had to change last night. They were all zeroed out, and I had to go back in and set the IP address, the subnet mask, and the gateway again. But the settings are still in here, so instead of a battery issue, we may have a knucklehead issue. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and power this thing off and take it apart and see what the battery voltage is on the inside. For anyone that actually has a dead memory battery, this would be very informative of how to go about replacing it. Alright, let's take the top off. Okay, lid's off. I'm okay. We can see what a nightmare we're about to get into. I can see that these cables here go to this bottom board, and I would imagine the control board is under here, underneath these preamp boards. These are going to have to come out. So I'll move this over to the bench so we can see better, and then I can sit down and work on this more comfortably. So I guess the first thing to do is probably get this out of the way so we don't damage it. Reach in here, we need to move this tab forward, so usually I'll just grab with my fingers on both sides and just pull out, and you can see now it's moved, and we can just pull that and get a little piece of tape and just hold this out of the way for now. Just stick that there. Alright, the next thing we have to deal with is this massive amount of screws on the back of this input board. 16 of these. That's 32 screws that'll go to this tray. I won't bore you with that part. You can see under here there's a screw hiding, so just kind of bend that out of the way so we can see it. Yours may or may not be hidden like this. Now we need to remove these two screws. We'll let that hang onto that cable, and this screw, and there'll be some standoffs under here. I would just pick up on this just a little bit, enough to let these, and then just fold it gently over. And these standoffs hold that board on, so I would just get in here, loosen those up, and unscrew them. And the same thing. Pick up on the board and flop it over. And now it looks like we have one more plate in the way, two more screws, and two more standoffs. And this will pick right up. Over there it goes. And let's look for our coin cell. There it is. I'll remove this ZIF socket as well, just so we can get a little better view. There is our coin cell battery. Let's check this with the meter. See what voltage our battery actually is. We'll check this together, and as we can see, that battery's got 3.1 volts. That's a good battery. Nothing wrong with that battery. So we don't have a battery problem, we have a knucklehead issue. Just so you guys know that are ready to replace your batteries, here's how you do it. Just push forward like that and out. Don't try to fight that clip or you'll break it. Then come in with your new battery and push it in, and it snaps in. So we definitely cleared the memory on this thing now. And that does it for this one. I showed you how to replace the internal battery on a Behringer X32 Rack mount mixer. If you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I'll see you next time. Circuit fixed.